also gain levels in each particular weapon type. So, for example, if I was to equip a pump-action shotgun and started using that weapon in Arc Falls and while I was questing and doing pursuits and so on, that weapon will start to accumulate experience points. The weapon itself and that class of weapon, pump-action shotguns, my proficiency, my affinity with that weapon type will increase as I go. To find out more, just press I on your keyboard, and you'll notice up the top you've got a Stats tab. Give that a click, scroll on down, and you'll see exactly where you stand with each particular weapon type, and also your vehicles as well. At the time that I'm creating this tutorial, the maximum level of skill for each weapon is 20. So you'll see it right up here. The assault rifles are getting pretty close. So I've got a particular Vosges assault rifle I've been using, getting a lot of mileage out of, and I'm at 18 at the moment. So, and the benefit for me is my reload time's been reduced as a result of my experience with the weapon. My critical multiplier is higher, so I'm more likely to apply crit damage. My recoil's been reduced as well, and my melee damage has been increased. So if I decide to use the weapon as a club, I'm going to get more damage out of it. Fall-off damage has been reduced. As rounds travel over distance, the damage starts to deplete, but the actual level that they deplete's been reduced by 10%. So I just get a little more distance out of that weapon than I would have if I'd first picked it up. And it's 5% more likely to trigger a nano effect every time I fire a round off as well. Nano effects are radiation damage or fire damage, elemental sort of stuff if you were playing a classic RPG. And if you want to find out more about that, that's covered in crafting. Now my submachine guns are maxed out. My light machine guns are only sitting at 7 at the moment. I haven't found an LMG that I'm really comfortable with. When it comes to rate, I prefer the submachine guns. When it comes to base damage per round, the assault rifles really do the damage that I like. So this one's kind of been stuffed. Now, these three weapons are a particular subtype of weapon, if you will. If I was to equip an assault rifle in one slot and a submachine gun in another slot in a particular loadout, as I consume rounds with one, I'm also pulling from the same ammo pool as the other. So you really want to be mixing up your weapon types in your loadout, or you're going to burn through your ammo twice as fast. Going down into shotguns, you can see combat shotguns, which are your automatic shotguns, for example. You've got a pump-action shotgun here, so it's a semi-automatic type, and you've also got your sawed-off down here. And I've only got a 1 on this. I found this the most agonising weapon in the game to use. Very slow. You spend more time reloading than actually doing damage. Now, snipers are broken down into two groups, and the levels speak for themselves. Bolt-action sniper rifles, single rounds, fire off. They deliver much more damage per hit. Now, probably the biggest single hits I've done in the game have been done with these things, but the reload time in between is killer. As opposed to semi-automatic rifles, which have got a lot less recoil, and they'll fire as quickly as the weapon will allow, based on whatever the rate of fire is on the weapon. And again, too, these two draw from the same ammo pool. Pistols are their own group, as are rocket launchers and detonators. These two have their own separate ammo, so you can equip one in each slot, and which would be insane. You basically do take damage from your own explosives, so if you can't manage distance, that's pretty much a killer build, a self-killing build. Rocket launchers I preferred right at the beginning of the game. I liked them, but detonators quickly took over. So that one's maxed out. Those are your max stats there for a detonator, while the rocket launchers still have a long way to go. My infector ability is sitting at 14 at the moment. My BMGs, which I really don't use much at all, are sitting on 7. So this is each particular weapon group or class has got its own level system. But if I go back to my inventory as well, if I click on this VBI TAC Auto Shotgun, you'll see that this has also got its own basic level, and once that's been maxed out, that weapon will be considered as mastered. It's not mastered at the moment, you can see that. I've got a long way to go. I've got to make 5,059,200 XP on that weapon before it maxes out. But to give you an example of the benefits of maxing, by mastering that weapon, it's giving me an additional 9% to minimum damage every time I fire it off as well. So that's an extra bonus from persisting with that weapon and then following it right through. Now, you'll notice that weapons also have their own rating as well, and that reflects the rating that your character was when you picked the weapon up. So you can see here that when I picked up this Castafan Weaver, I was sitting on 1730. That was my ego rating at the time. However, right now I'm 2899, so we've got a differential of around 1100 on that, and I'll feel that when I use that weapon. What that means is there'll be it won't be doing nearly as much damage as it could be. It won't be doing nearly as much healing as it could be as well when repairing other people's shields. So that's something else you need to watch. The weapon of yesterday that was kicking ass can quickly become deprecated as you level and progress through the game. You can, however, increase the rating of that weapon too, so that it's as close to your current ego rating as possible, and you can progressively keep doing that as the game goes along, which is both a nice touch in this game and also a curse at the same time. If you've got a particular weapon that you like, you've got to keep dragging that up in levels with you as you go as well. For example, this Volsh Typhoon AR, I've been carrying this for a very, very long time, and it's absolutely perfect for shredding shields off enemies. I don't have anything else that will cut through shields as quickly as this thing. But even at the time that I'm doing this tutorial, it's about 500 rating below my actual ego rating at the moment too. So that's something I've got to keep an eye on. And that pretty much covers weapons. Any other additional stuff you're looking at about, like, for example, how to keep increasing the rating on your weapons, how to attach mods to them and so on, go to the crafting section.